Good morning, everyone. Christian Duque, MD Noble Weekly, episode number 9, brought to you courtesy of IronMagLabs.com, makers of Andro Hard Topical Muscle Enhancement Gel. Today is Wednesday, August 16th, and we've had a very, very unusual week. First and foremost, our good friend Rich Piana had a tragedy. TMZ wasted no time, mainstream media wasted no time in reporting what they thought was the news. There was one character from DDN Sports or something to that effect put out a story that our good friend Rich had died. Louie Marco, who you guys know from YouTube, went ahead and shared that on Instagram to over 100,000 people. And as a result, people even today think that Rich has passed away. And it's very unfortunate. I took that DDN guy to task. I made a video available at Strength Addicts, also at Muscular Development Forums. And, before the end of the call, he pulled a story. And by the end of the call, he offered a retraction. And, it's very unfortunate. But, we've had a lot of people speculate as to what they think happened when nobody really knows what happened except for Rich, Chanel, their family, and maybe some members of Team 5%. And it just makes my blood boil that people would use this tragedy as a way to get themselves a center of attention. Now, one thing that I do want to share is that Chanel, Rich's longtime girlfriend, put out a message on Instagram, and it reads, "Leave your inspiring story, well wishes, or messages to be played for Rich Piana by calling 855-845-4982. And that's exactly what we are going to do just now. And I'm going to leave a very interesting message, and I hope that you do too as well.
We want to thank you for reaching out to Rich in his time of need. Please leave a message if you wish to share an inspirational story about Rich, or even if you want to simply just wish him well. All messages will be played back to him. Thank you again."
What's up, brother? This is Christian Duque. I'm actually making my MD Noble Weekly show, and I think I called you before. I thought I had hung up the phone. It was like another take, because sometimes I do this show and it takes like, I don't know, it feels like a dozen to 20 takes. And hopefully you didn't hear any cursing, because I do that when I don't get the take I want. I'm like, anyways, you've always been just an awesome friend to me, and we've been doing interviews now for about 5 years. And yeah, I gotta tell you, man, you always treat me like I'm part of the family. You always, even like this past year, you giving me your number again and telling me, let's talk about it, let's get a good interview, let's do something real special like that. That means a lot to me because honestly, I'm really nobody in the fitness industry. I have a really small website and I don't compete. And, just the fact that you would have that much respect for me and what I do, that just means so much. And, I defend you whenever I can because I really believe in what you're doing. And I saw you when you were with Mutant, and I saw you evolve, and I see how big your brand is getting and how much you care, how you talk to every single fan and you make every single fan feel important. And it doesn't matter if the cleaning crew's coming, you make sure that everybody gets a photo, a handshake, you talk to people, you answer questions, you don't beat around the bush. That means a lot to me and just so many people. And I'm doing this on my little show at Muscular Development, and I say little show because let's be real. I'm like talking into a web camera with a wall in the background, but this comes from the heart, and I'm really hoping that a lot of people see this and do the same. I know that a lot of people really aren't very in touch with their feelings, but I'm hoping that they give you a call and that they share with you, a story, an experience, something. And I hope that this message finds you really well. I love you, brother. Take care. All right. So that was my message for Rich. And I hope that you guys do the same because I think it's really important to reach out to him and just let him know how you feel. And that's that. Let's move on. I'd like to talk a little bit about Kai Greene. Kai Greene is still in the IFBB. He is still planning on doing future Mr. Olympias. He is not doing this year's Mr. Olympia. And I want to give kudos to Digital Muscle Media's Dan Solomon, who put out a video debunking the fake news that was being released on other websites, and was quick to say that what he did which other people could have done. I couldn't have done it because I don't have the relationships that Dan has and other people have, but he reached out to Aaron Singerman. He reached out to Kai Greene's business partner. He reached out to Kai Greene's company, and he verified what was in fact happening. And what was in fact happening is that Super League is paying Kai to make an appearance at an event that coincidentally will be at the same time, place as the Mr. Olympia in Las Vegas for Super League. But that does not mean, as Nick's Strength and Power reported, that Kai Greene is no longer an IFBB pro, that Kai Greene has left the IFBB, that Kai Greene will no longer do any IFBB pro shows, or that Kai Greene will never do another Mr. Olympia again. Those were entirely, whether they were fabricated or they were just completely bunk, they were reported as news and they were not. And unfortunately, we're not limiting it to a YouTube channel, but Dave Palumbo of RxMuscle.com citing Nick's Strength and Power simply for the fact that A, he had over 150,000 subscribers, and B, because of the fact that he spoke with such confidence, must have been telling the truth. And then Dave went on a tangent to speak directly to Kai insofar as how much of a disservice he was doing to himself by leaving the IFBB. So unfortunately, not everyone has the journalistic integrity of a Dan Solomon who would actually pick up the phone. Now see, Aaron Singerman worked for Dave. When the whole thing happened with Dallas and Sean here at MD, they went and did an interview at RX. So the relationship is there. Dave could have picked up the phone and called, as opposed to just made a video to be the first one out, and I don't know if he did or did not, but I know that Dan called Aaron and Dan called Kai's business partner, and I know that if someone is saying that Kai Greene is jumping ship, what I would want to know, as a journalist, is I would want to speak. I mean, ultimately, I'd want to speak to Kai, who Dave also has a relationship with, just like Dan Solomon. Dan Ray's the picture guy. But I would want to hear from Kai, if not Kai's business partner, if not Kai's business partner, Aaron Singerman. I'd want to hear from someone credible, not to say that Nick's Strength and Power, the YouTuber, is incredible, but in a story of this magnitude, I would want to know concretely, or as concretely as possible. And Dan is the kind of journalist that I aspire to become, or to be, and Dave leaves a little bit to be desired. Next, I'd like to talk about Louie Marco. Now, Louie Marco, we all know, is quite possibly the biggest bodybuilding YouTube celebrity out there. Of course, there's the Hodge twins and Jason Blaha and Mark Lobliner and them. But in terms of specifically bodybuilding, specifically whether it's celebrating or trolling is entirely up to you. But specifically IFBB bodybuilding from a YouTube celebrity, quasi-celebrity perspective, Louie Marco would be the man. And Louie Marco has, in the last few days, seen many of his YouTube videos, his biggest earning YouTube videos, because don't forget, YouTube is monetized. He has seen them demonetized as not fitting with advertiser-friendly criteria. So many of the videos that are getting hit with these dings are still making money, but they might be making him 5, 10, 15% of what he used to make. Okay. Next, he got blocked on Facebook for 30 days. And now he's seeing some of his posts on Instagram also getting dinged and possibly being removed. So earlier in the year, there was something called Adpocalypse, which a lot of the big YouTubers were talking about. And it was when YouTube lost some of its gigantic advertisers and also changed the criteria. For example, if you go on YouTube now and you want to monetize your channel and you want to be able to get money, you have to have at least 10,000 views. You can't monetize unless you have 10,000 views. It did not used to be like that. So if you have a channel, let's say you want to have a channel and make some money and do some shows. And these shows do take time. I mean, let's be real. Let's look at Louie Marco. Let's look at Rich Piana. Let's look at Kali Muscle. Let's look at the Hodge twins. I mean, they put, especially Rich Piana and Kali Muscle, they put a lot into graphics. They put a lot into intro music. For example, Johnny Bravo, who is a documentary filmmaker, investigative journalist, spends a lot of money on his intro music and you see, because on YouTube, anything that's copyrighted will have all the audio removed. So a lot of folks, kind of like what they would do with Blake Selby, who was just a great, talented musician that would create tracks for bodybuilding posing seminars and that kind of thing, bodybuilding DVDs. Blake Selby, what's up? Um, it's very expensive to have songs made just for you so that they pass the rigorous rigmarole that is the copyright hunt. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that your videos can be monetized and make top money, because then if they can't, you're out money that you spent on your video editor, your studio, your cameras, all that stuff. This is a major production. Now, if you get through all that, you can make a shitload of money. Not anymore, though, because now YouTube's cracking down. And not only just cracking down, because cracking down suggests that something wrong has been done, YouTube's just getting really stingy as fuck, and they just don't want to pay. You know what I mean? And they're the only show in town. I mean, you can go to Vimeo, but you're not going to make any money on Vimeo, I don't believe. You certainly won't make any money on Facebook. So, I mean, when it was good, I would say it would have been like 2012, 13, 14, 15. I knew people that were making $10,000, $15,000 a month just on Google AdSense. They quit their jobs and that's all they did. 24/7 was put out videos. And now, who knows if that's going to happen. Louie Marco says that he's got personal training clients, but I don't know how many people are going to Louie Marco for personal training, and they may, but as soon as the videos stop coming out, now he says he's going to keep doing the videos, and he says it's not going to stop. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I personally don't believe, if I had the money, and I don't know what Louie charges for personal training, but if I had the money and I could get whoever I wanted and I was doing competitions, I'd much rather have a Chris Aceto, a Hani Rambod, or George Farah, Dennis James, you know what I mean, than, a John Meadows, than Louie Marco. But that's just, that's me personally. You know what I mean? So I don't know how many people he actually has, what he charges. I don't know. But it's interesting. Now, the next story I want to talk about is Big Ramy. Now, right after, see, I like to do these videos late on a Tuesday. But I've come to the realization that no matter how late I do them, if something's going to happen after I submit it to Jordan, it's just going to happen. So last week, after I submitted my video, Chad Nichols, I think it was the very next day, like at 5 in the morning, Chad Nichols put out a picture of Big Ramy, and he called bullshit, and he said, this is not real. This is not real. And what it was a comparison. Of course, Dave Palumbo and the other folks followed in suit after. But you took a picture of Big Ramy from 2016, about 7 weeks out, and he compared it to a photo from Big Ramy at around 6.5, 7 weeks out from 2017, allegedly. And he said, this is just not possible. Look at 2016. First off, 2016, he's showing his legs. Now, that's something that Big Ramy has not done even up until now. And now we're like, I believe, either at 4 or under 4 weeks from the big show. He won't show his legs. Now, maybe there's a big buildup. Maybe there's really nothing under, those sweatpants to really write home about. Maybe his legs are smooth. Maybe there's nothing there. I don't know. Now, Chad was not saying that Big Ramy was not ready, and Chad was not saying that he didn't, do his homework. He was just saying that that was a 9-week out photo being used as a 6-week out photo, and it could either mean that, and I believe he was implying that it was a psych out more than anything else, but other folks have speculated that it could mean that Big Ramy's prep is not really where it needs to be. What I will say, though, in terms of Big Ramy and what I said last week, I mean, he's a phenomenal bodybuilder, but again, it's all about priorities. His biggest hindrance is also his biggest draw, and that is size. But at 335 pounds, 5.5 to 6 weeks out, this guy's going to be well over 300 pounds. I mean, there's this whole speculation that Jay Cutler and other people have talked about saying that at 300 pounds, Big Ramy will probably not be dialed in. But what's to say he's going to be 300 pounds? I'm thinking he might be 305. He might even be 310. I mean, he's not going to lose 35 pounds of muscle mass or 35 pounds of weight because he doesn't have a lot of fat on him. When you look at him, he doesn't have a lot of fat. He's a little bit bloated. He's holding water, yeah, but not fat. So it's interesting, and the thing about it is that all over his Instagram and social media, he has said that he is focusing on dialing it in and growing at the same time. So this is someone who probably will not want to lose a lot of size. So I would imagine, he comes on stage at 305, 310, he might not even be in the top 5. Forget about winning the Sandow. I mean, you come in at 310, what is he, like 5'8", 5'9"? There's no way he would come in dialed in. There's just no possible way. He'd be too damn big. You know what I mean? For a guy that, weighing a lot less wasn't dialed in to win the Mr. Olympia, coming in that heavy, I don't know. Also, let's talk a little bit about the Kentucky Open that I just went to last Saturday in Frankfort, Kentucky. Gene and Tina Gooch show. I had a phenomenal time. A lot of talent. A lot of folks headed to the North Americans. My good friend Gary Udit has told me that right now it's looking like 1,200 competitors, the very best from Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And don't forget, the North American is an international competition. To me, honestly, it's one of my absolute favorites. And I say one of, there's only four, right? So let me just go ahead and like remove any suspense. It is my favorite. Team Universe is like a very close second, almost a tie for first. I really like Team Universe because the winners go on to compete and represent the United States in the World Games. I like events that are international because there's a lot of international influence here in America. There's a lot of countries all around the world. The IFBB is the International Federation of Bodybuilders. I just like the international flair. And I think that there's a lot of Canadian athletes that are very deserving of pro cards that cannot get them in their country because of the fact that there are so few that are up for grabs there. And a lot of them, let's be real, a lot of folks, if given the opportunity between what's available in Canada and a first-class production put on by none other than your NPC Mid-Atlantic Zone Chairman, Mr. Gary Udit, I mean, to me, just speaking for myself, it would be a no-brainer. I want to do the show that Gary put on, but that's just me. All in all, it's going to be a fantastic event. We're going to have a ton of new IFBB pros, hardworking men and women that have really brought it at the local, regional, and state level. It's time for them to graduate into the pro division. I think they're going to bring a lot of talent. Well, that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching MD Noble Weekly, Episode 9, brought to you courtesy of IronMagLabs.com. Peace.